Hello, we are Radu Florian and Radulescu Sebastian from Romania. We are
Hello.
in Portugal, and today we have a special guest, one of our teachers from Romania, Mrs. Rosana Mosor.
Nice to see you again, boys. It's a pleasure for me to give you this interview today, especially that you are two of my most clever students from Romania. So I'm also glad that you chose to go with Erasmus Mobility in Portugal. I hope you'll have a lot of good experiences there, and you'll meet a lot of people, and you will have a lot to story at home when you come back. Congrats for this choice of yours.
Okay, so further with the interview, can you make a short presentation of your career, I guess?
Of my career of journalist.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something about. I worked as a journalist for almost 5 years. For first time, I worked in a national television cast. And I was a part of a team from a show called The Street Culture. And it was a very good experience for me. I wasn't very familiar with television then, but after that, I came in my town in Târgoviște, where I'm living now. And I worked also in a local broadcast. And I was a correspondent for a national channel also, Antena 1, for a short time. And after that, I worked for weekly newspaper, and I become very quickly chief editor for this paper. What can I say about this period? It was the most exhausting, I think, for me, because a real journalist should be there in his post 24 hours from 24 hours. But also it was the most beautiful, the most fruitful period in my life, because I met a lot of people. I lived a lot of experiences, situations, and I enriched very much my professional life in this way.
Okay, thank you. Since you have such a long career, can you, in journalism, of course, can you tell us why did you want to be a journalist or work in the area, the field of journalism?
I graduated sociology, not journalism. So journalism was an opportunity for me. At that time, I met chief editor in Târgoviște, which was very experienced in journalism. And that man came to me one day and proposed to me to be part of a new team in a new local newspaper. And I was very glad to receive this offer. I accepted, and this is the way I became a journalist. I have to say that it wasn't very easy in the beginning for me to do this. I had no experiences in writing. And this is the hardest part, I think, until you got an experience got the skills of writing. And this skill is very important for a real journalist, because today everyone who wakes up in the morning and look into mirror can say from today on I want to be a journalist, but it's not so easy. Good journalists should know how to write, should have a lot of knowledges in a lot of fields, and also should be very organized, serious, and with, of course, with skills specific for journalism.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we can move to another subject, I guess. What is your opinion about the impact of the journalism in public opinion and society?
Yeah, it's a very difficult question and with a very complex answer, I think. Nowadays, mass media is somehow very subjective. I think journalists nowadays aren't so objective as they should have been. So well, we are witness today to some casts who are very subjective. I mean that one channel is with, for example, one political leader, and other channel is with the opponents. And this is, I don't know, this is a good thing for journalists to be so involved in political life. I think this is the most dangerous part of nowadays journalism, to be involved in politics, or politics to be involved in journalist work. So I think objectivity is all, we don't have to leave this ideal to be objective. If we cannot be objective, at least we should be honest with ourselves and with a community, because journalist should put his skills, all his skills to provide something, good information, a real one, an honest one for community, not to serve some particular interests to a politician or others, or some other, I don't know, pressure groups or interested groups. So I think journalists have a lot of influence upon public opinion, because every house, for example, no matter poor are people here, every house has a television inside. So people watch a lot television, and for almost every subject, the main tool for information is television. Not reading a book, not reading a serious newspaper, but television channels. So but when we talk about effects on public opinion, we should have in mind the fact that people are also critical, and they filter, some of them, they filter the information, and the television, for some people works like a magical bullet, for others don't. So this is synthetically speaking my answer.
Okay, so since you talked about honesty in the journalism area, we would like to ask you your opinion about fake news and also opinion on social media.
These are two phenomenon which we confront nowadays, fake news, and also the speed of spreading this fake news through this social media. It's very hard for somebody who is not anchored very well in reality, who doesn't read daily newspaper and who doesn't search for alternative information, alternative sources of information, to identify what is real from what is fake. That's why fake news are very large spreaded today. And social media is a very good medium for spreading this fake news, because you know better than me, I think, because you use probably more often than me social media, that everyone has a profile, and each of us has some I don't know, preferences for kind of news. And in the moment when you give a like to a post, to a material, and you are I don't know, very captivated of this kind of information, you'll observe that your wall will be continuously feeded with this kind of information. So you enter into I don't know how to say it, a very narrowed universe, and probably you'll not be able anymore to distinguish a real news from a fake one. Yes, it's a real danger for me, in my opinion, this phenomenon, especially for the youngest, because the youngest people are very anxious to search for something extraordinary, sensational, and the main I don't know, the main tool for us to combat this, to contract, I don't know, this is the correct word in English, is through education, talking with as much as is possible with this category in family, in school, and to learn them how to make a difference between an information and another. So the education is the key is the answer for this problem.
Yeah, sure it is. Okay, for the next question, we would like to ask you, how do you organize your personal life against your professional life?
Very good, I think, because nowadays I'm not a journalist anymore. You know this. When I look in the past, I realized in my life there was a lot of I don't know, turmoil. I don't think it's the correct word, but you know what I want to say. A lot of full days, and there were days when I came home at I don't know, 10 p.m. or 11 or 12, and after that, after 2 hours, somebody from newspaper called me that is a problem with the newspaper, and I have to go back and to solve this. But now things are much simple for me. I have a normal work, 8 hours, full norm job, and after that, as you know, I'm assistant in our local university, and this is the part I like most, to teach and to be related with my students. So it's okay now, and I have also plenty of time for myself to do other things.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, you know, that's very important. When you are young, you don't realize how important it is to have a life of yours. When you are a journalist, you know, it's very hard to have a life of yours. Yeah, because it's like a virus in your blood when you work for, I don't know, newspaper or for a television or for a radio broadcast. Because if you see something which is interesting on the street, walking on the street, and you are in your personal time, it's very hard to stop yourself, not to make a picture, to give a call to your colleagues and to tell them about this event, and to write about it, and to be an effective journalist. So for me, it was very hard to separate my professional life with my personal life when I was a journalist. This is the main idea.
Okay, now we have a question about since you had the contact with Romanian media, can you give us a short panoramic photo of it and how he evolved or reverse in time from?
When I started to work in journalism, I think how many years ago? Oh my God, too much. I think 12 years ago. I think Romanian media, it was more honest than today. I have to say this. But for us, it was that gain of liberty after revolution, and we wanted to prove that we are very keen to express ourselves, to have a lot of newspaper, not just one or two. You know that in communism, the main purpose for newspaper was propaganda, and to to put in our minds what the dictator wanted. But immediately after revolution, it was an explosion of media in Romania. We wanted to be heard by the entire world, and in the same time to have a connection with our civil society, which is still in construction today. So I think from this point of view, the newspaper then were more honest than today. Because the main difficulty for the media, for Romanian media, in my opinion, is to survive. You know that each media society is like other private society, in which you have to follow your purpose, to have a gain, you know, a profit. So without very developed business environment, we cannot have a very strong media, because media should entirely be paid from publicity, not from, I don't know, an interested group, which for many times it proved to be politically involved. So I think this is the main difficulty to survive on the market, and especially for local media, because the central channels, television channels or radios or newspaper are more or less with this umbrella of good finance, and it's easier for them to find economical agents who pay for publicity. But for the local, it's very hard to find this sources of finance, because locally our economical agents are not so, I think, so strong, so developed, so to be able to pay also for publicity.
Okay, and for our last question, we want you to ask, back when you were a journalist, since you have talked about how the regional media has a hard time, I wanted to ask you how you form a relationship with the authorities and your sources, and also with other important figures such as politicians or even other journalists.
It's a very complicated relationship.
Yeah.
Between Romanian media and politicians, authorities, and because on one side, media is very powerful, because media enters into people's houses, and as a politician, if you want to gain popularity, you have to appear in media, you know, and journalists should be write very nice about you. Otherwise, you don't have chances to be popular and to gain the sympathy of people. On the other hand, as I told you, for media it's very hard to survive in these times. So when some interest groups are involved in politics and pay for a media channel, pay for a newspaper to exist, it's very hard after that for that channel or for that newspaper to be critical with this group. It's almost impossible. It's like subordinated relationship. And this is not good when something like this it happens. So I don't think it's general for this in Romania. It's a general situation, but still exists. So sometimes it's not a transitional relation between authorities, is a dependent one. So from my perspective, media should be independent, but it's not so easy in practical. Yes, is a goal, but it's very hard to achieve this.
Great. Thank you for your answers.
Thank
And
you for your
also,
time.
yeah, thank you for allocating your time to have an interview with us about journalism in general. Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you.
for
Thank you again.
choosing me for this interview, and I hope you can use this information for your project, and good luck with other project of yours there. And I look forward to tell me stories about Portugal.
Okay. See you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.